Hi, my name is Joe B. Ken. I'm with Memphis Corporate Community Leadership Measured. It's the first effort ever to measure the effectiveness of the Memphis Corporate Community Leadership Complex, including Memphis Tomorrow Chamber and Edge. And I hope you saw my article in the Commercial Appeal here recently. But one of the things I try to address is the corporate life trickle down, and it's never been real. It's like the tooth fairy. It's not real. And a lot of our economic development thinking is fueled by trickle down thoughts of a better tomorrow. And for all as all these tax abatements are made and investments in true economic development, small business, workforce development, public safety are foregone. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, we're going to go through excessive and responsible incentives. First, well, this is from previous work. We have retention pilots that have been shown to cost taxpayers anywhere from 95 million to 253 million. As Edge reports them as a $665 million gain. It's about a $900 million overstatement. It's a big problem. We also have examples of responsible incentives like J&J and Indigo Ag and Agilent Technologies. You're going to have incentives to recruit industry to Memphis. They need to be responsible incentives. They don't need to be excessive. Um, and um, and then what about excessive incentives? And so we're going to look at some excessive incentives beyond the retention pilot program. What we're going to do is we're going to let the Edge board tell us what's excessive and what's not. It's not going to be me talking because I'm going to be using their own tools to say what's excessive and not. We're going to take a look at the Mark Anthony pilot and the FedEx and the recent FedEx pilot. So with the Mark Anthony, we're going to use Edge documentation and also the Edge project estimator to determine whether the Mark Anthony pilot is excessive or not. And so what we'll do is we'll come over here and use the Mark Anthony data from here. And you can see right off the bat there's a problem even before we get into the project estimator that you have a local tax benefit of $1.8 million but a tax incentive of 2.3 million, which loses taxpayers $500,000. So right off the bat, that's a concern. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the Edge project estimator and plug in the numbers of it, plug these numbers into the Edge tool to see what the Mark Anthony pilot should really be. So let's get started with that. So we're going to put this information into the Edge project estimator, which you can get to by just following this link here. So we're going to put it in the project estimator, and this is the information from Mark Anthony. You have 30 new jobs at a wage of $37,679. And then it's a distribution, and then they're going to invest $1 million in the project and $225,000 in personal property, $1 million in real property they're going to invest, and the value of the building before improvements is $9.5 million. So they'll add the million in investment to that, and then is a project located in the city of Memphis? Yes. Is New Markets Credit? Yes. Is a project corporate headquarters? No, no, no. So that's the project estimator, and so the Edge board says that that project is worth a 10-year estimated term, which is different than the tax incentive eligibility analysis, which we talked about, which only gave it 4, but it would have abated, so who knows how that would have worked out. But they're saying 10 years and that they would abate $237,000 $237,000 in taxes over time, over the 10 years. So let's see what they abated. They abated $2.3 million is what they abated. So again, they lost $500,000, but if they would have done 2.3 million, it would have worked. I mean, $230,000, it would have worked as opposed to $2.3 million in abated taxes. So that's a concern. That's an example. This is an example. Every way you look at this Mark Anthony thing is an example of an excessive pilot. Again, it's only going to generate $1.8 million, and we lost $500,000 according to Edge with a $2.3 million abatement. And their tax incentive eligibility, their project estimator tool only says that they should abate $237,000. So that's a concern. All of that with not using the tax incentive eligibility analysis, which would have done a 4-year term, and then you come over here and use this tool, and it says they would have only abated $237,000. Taxes abated over length of term, $237,000, and you've got 2.3 million they abated here. This is what I'm talking about the Edge Board. They don't follow their own rules. So next, let's look at okay, now we'll look at the FedEx downtown incentive, see if it was excessive. So we'll use as data press accounts from the Memphis Business Journal and Edge Project estimators and press accounts to determine excessive incentives. So what we're going to do is come over here and look at a couple of these. This is the Memphis Business Journal article that we're using to fill in the amounts, and this here is what Nashville uses. Now, I don't like to compare Memphis to Nashville or any city to Nashville because it's a boom town. But just as a point of reference, Nashville offers $500 per job for 7 years. So, Amazon at $150,000, FedEx at $80,000, they get $500 per job. So, FedEx's incentive in Nashville for 339 jobs at $80,000 would have been about 1.2 million total over the course of 7 years. So that's just something that we might want to think about. Again, it's a boom town, and so it's just one data point, but it's not necessarily what we should be comparing ourselves to, except that, it's just one data point. So let's fill in the project estimator, and if we put in 339 jobs, and it was $80,000, we'll say 85,000. We'll come down here and we'll say it's distribution. Their investment was $33 million into the building. We've got $1 million in personal property here just to fill in that information. It was a lease. The purchase price was $14 million, and not sure how big it is, but we'll say it's 300,000 square feet. And then we have yes, on all of this. On these areas, is it located in Memphis? Is it in tax eligibility credit? And so the total abatement based on the Edge Board project estimator would be $11 million that would be paid out over 15 years. And so that's what Edge says. Now, what we know is that FedEx got a $34 million tax incentive package from Memphis and Shelby County. So is that excessive? Well, the Edge Board says it is, based on their project estimator. And then, we use a variety of analysis. So we can come down here, and these are our findings from this. And we're using Edge tools. We're using data from other cities. We're using authoritative data from Edge. And so this is our findings. Retention pilot program excessive at a taxpayer loss of between 93 and 253 million to taxpayers as the Edge reports it has a $665 million gain. Now that was from a previous study from another video and blogs. The Edge board tells us through their project estimator that the Mark Anthony pilot is excessive by $2 million. And that's just that 30 job pilot. It's a small pilot. So they say it's excessive by $2 million. We abated $2.3 million. The project estimator says we should have only done $237,000 over 10 years. The Edge board tells us through their project estimator that the Edge DMC package is excessive at $34 million by $23 million over $11 million per the estimator. The Edge project estimator recommended $11 million. Nashville's incentive for FedEx would have been $1.2 million versus $34 million paid here in Memphis and Shelby County. So that's just the information that I've acquired based on Edge documentation, press accounts, and also using Edge tools. Anyway, that's that. Thanks.